My name is Michał Hetmánski, and I'm economist and president of the board at Instrat, a Warsaw-based think tank that is focusing on energy transition from coal to clean energy sector in Poland and Central and Eastern Europe.
My name is Diana Maciąga, and I've been working with a Polish NGO, Pracownia na rzecz Wszystkich Istot, which is completely unpronounceable, so we translated into Workshop for All-Being. For the past 31 years, we've been working for protection of the natural values of our country, Poland, to protect both wild animals and habitats.
My name is Ilona Jędrasik, and I'm leading a fossil fuel infrastructure team in Poland in an organization called ClientEarth. ClientEarth is an international organization which focuses on environmental law. My team focusing on Polish coal issues, all these pollutions which are connected to coal, and we are trying to make Polish energy system greener and safer.
My name is Sophie Marjanac. I'm the climate accountability lead at ClientEarth. I'm based in London, but our team works on climate law and litigation all around the world.
My name is Kuba Gogolewski. I'm based in a Polish non-governmental organization that's called Fundacja Rozwój Tak, Odkrywki Nie. That would be development yes, open bit mines no. We are representing a coalition of local communities, local authorities, experts and scientists who since 2011 have been opposing plans to build new lignite mines. And we've been supporting those communities, working on the transformation of a Polish energy system.
Our long-lasting campaign for coal phase-out in Poland started with the first campaign concerned then the biggest new power plant in Europe, the North or Północ. And the campaign was successful. We managed to stop construction of this facility. And later, we campaigned to stop construction of the infamous Ostrołęka C coal project.
Ostrołęka was a symbol. It was the last plant that was decided to be built in the EU. The decision was taken after a lot of campaigners, including us, saying that it doesn't have economic sense, that it will never pay off, that it will be a stranded asset. Still, the two state-owned utilities decided to start operation, even though they didn't have financing secured. We played a big part in reaching out to international insurance and reinsurance companies, explaining what are the faults and problems with this project, and the project was dropped.
The biggest argument against Ostrołęka C was actually that this is not anyhow aligned with the European and global climate policy. And we proved with analysis made by experts that this coal power plant block is never going to be profitable for the companies and should not be built.
Luckily, the construction started, but it was dropped. And I think there's a message there. We used to think that when the construction starts, it's usually done deal. Ostrołęka started construction at the end of 2018, and the decision to cancel it was in May 2020. So last year it was abandoned and became sort of a symbol of a stranded asset in the making. We've wasted 250 to 300 million euros on building two pillars, and that's the money that didn't go to transformation.
Poland is one of the most coal-dependent countries, not only in Europe, but also in the world. And at the moment, we still produce around 70% of our electricity and around 70% of heat from coal. Coal has significant role not only in energy sector as a system, but also when it comes to the individual heating. So we still use coal to burn in domestic stoves.
These are very small boilers that have no environmental pollution limits. They are very outdated. The coal used there is a non-classified kind of coal that is very pollutive, and Poland has one of the highest number per capita of premature deaths caused by air pollution, coming mostly from individual heating.
This impact of coal in Poland is visible not only in CO2 emissions, but also in the other environmental problems such as landscape, such as protection of soil and protection of water.
Public opinion is much divided about the energy transition in Poland. Many people in Poland still consider coal as something very concrete, your own economic resource, that is coal that you extract from underground, and this underground has been defended by your ancestors. And even 2 or 3 years ago, you could hear the president of Poland, Mr. Andrzej Duda, saying that Poland has enough resources to extract and burn coal for the next 2 centuries.
When I started working for ClientEarth, the share of coal in the electricity sector was around 80%, and within these 10 years, we actually reduced the coal up to 70%, which is significant, but still is way too much to actually talk about decarbonization of the Polish energy sector. And within these 10 years, we improved significantly development of prosumers energy, so this micro-scale energy. We significantly improved the energy efficiency, but there is still a lot to do to get rid of coal. Even 40, 50-year-old energy coal power plants are still active and they're still producing energy in Poland. Bełchatów is the second biggest lignite coal power plant in the world and the biggest single coal power plant in Europe. It's also the biggest single CO2 emitter in the entire European Union. Bełchatów is lignite coal, so it's not only gigantic, it's also using the dirtiest form of coal, which makes extremely huge impact on the entire environment, on the water regime, on the air pollution, local fauna and flora. We decided to actually make the first civil case against Bełchatów power plant in Poland. We used the article from the Polish environmental law, and which said that if there is any installation which impact on the environment is big, and this impact is impossible to reduce by any technological way, then the environmental organization or the local community have a right to actually demand this installation to be shut down.
Those last remaining coal power operators are really being squeezed out of the market, and then hence we've seen the announcement by the Polish government that they will close Bełchatów by 2036, which is not in line with the science. As we know, coal in the OECD needs to end by 2030 at the absolute latest. So that is still too late, 2036, but at least there's an acknowledgement from the government that there needs to be a conversation about a coal phase out, which is a first for Poland.
We need to start closing coal power plants, and the first step for it would be actually announcing the date of coal phase out. We don't have it in Poland yet.
The government will never say it is our brave decision to phase out coal. They will do it step by step. These steps are never announced as a coal phase out, so you should read between the lines to see that the government approach is changing. And numerous institutes, researchers, analysts, including Instrat, is showcasing different scenarios to switch from coal to other energy carriers and sources.
There is this completely different idea for an energy system. We sometimes call it this virtual power plant. So it's not one huge facility, but basically every house becomes the producer of energy. It can be done with photovoltaics, with wind, with biogas. The municipalities, so these local communities, can have their own mini renewable power plants. And if we also reduce the use of energy, we can become independent. This also means that people are becoming independent from these big energy corporations, that they reclaim power. So it's literally power to the people. And this is also one of the reasons that the government, which controls energy production in Poland, doesn't really want to let go of this power.
Uważam, że polscy politycy i polityczki zbyt długo są bierni, nie podejmując działań, które będą chroniły nas, obywateli, obywatelki, przed zmianami klimatu.
This is a case brought by 5 Polish people. They are all seeing the effect of climate change in their everyday lives. They are bringing a human rights case to 5 regional courts in Poland, alleging that Polish personal rights and human rights require the Polish state to reduce its emissions in line with the goals of the Paris Agreement.
Zdecydowałam się podjąć działania prawne, dlatego że świat już jest o 1,2 stopnie cieplejszy, jeżeli weźmiemy pod uwagę poziom przedindustrialny. Taki świat jest już katastrofalny. Ja nie chcę, żeby moja przyszłość też tak wyglądała. Nie chcę, żeby teraźniejszość tych osób też tak wyglądała.
Poland really owes it to their citizens to step up to the plate and face the reality that fossil fuels are a relic of the past, and that on a pure economic and political level, as a member of the EU, they are holding themselves back by failing to transition at the same pace as the rest of the bloc.
I'm partially optimistic in a sense that I know that there is a lot of things that can be done and will be done. But looking at the big picture, I think we really need to speed up.
There's still lots to do. We are going to the good green direction, but so far Poland is rather, like crawling than running. So we have to really make them speed up.